Hello again, thank you for joining me for another video. So today I was just going to do an energy update. I'm going to let you know what I've been feeling and going through this week and what I sense in the ethers, and then I'll do just a quick little reading to clarify what I've said. And yeah, so I'll just be doing this for a little while until I feel like everybody is kind of like on that collective page where they can like sense in to these things and notice. So it's like if there was a new color out there and you couldn't quite get your eyes to see it, I'm going to keep on pointing it out and so you can see it. We're going to just do a little real life practice here. So what I have noticed this week, I had a mini apocalypse experience. So swarming of insects, flood, like unexpected weather that came in, and then there was a flash flood which I was driving through, so potential for complete destruction. And then somehow, you know, the new day dawned and it was fine. Everything was fine. Everything's okay. Took a day for everything to dry out. Once it dried out, we're okay again. A little bit of some weird synchronicities that were kind of intense, and then you really just had to like hold through the intense synchronicities, because sometimes that stuff can turn if you notice the duality in them. And then so like the big themes I would say right now are grounding into Mother Earth. Mother Earth is very present at the moment, grounding into that, getting ready for the kind of that harvest, the sense of harvest. So jobs might be popping up as an opportunity for you. Home life might be getting more stable and feeling better in your tummy and your guts. There could have been some nastiness in the relationship fields, and hopefully you worked it out. Hopefully you remember that you know, nobody's perfect and you have to just ride those things out sometimes. Learn to forgive. Remember the higher goals that you might have set. I think one of the things I relayed to someone who was going through that was, you know, there's no perfect person or perfect relationship. There's only perfect effort, meaning you keep on showing up. You keep on putting your effort towards something. That's it. That's all we can hope to do, and trust that sometimes the spiritual will push you, and sometimes the spiritual will pull you, and it all kind of depends on where your center is with regards to whatever it is. Like there are certain things I won't do unless they scare me or it scares me, unless the energy is one where it's like, I gotta move away from this. Sometimes I can be pulled in a direction, but there are certain things that if I don't feel a little bit of need to get away from something, I might just sit there without me paying any attention to it. You know, we get into this habit of avoiding acknowledging certain things, and in that case it might become discomfortable, so you move away from it. Not all things are like, oh, that shouldn't exist, because we take motivation in multiple forms, right? That's been my experience. So do some good grounding, because the energy right now with Mother Earth is really great. She's being very present. It feels very like safe and welcoming and healing, and like, I got this, it's okay. Like, come into the bosom and let me hold you through this. So that's been really wonderful, personally speaking. So all right, well, I'm gonna shuffle these things. I'm not particularly a tarot person. You know, it's not something I study or do a lot of. All of my stuff is I don't do astrology either. I just take the intuition, what am I feeling, and what has happened in the process is that when I go back and check what other people are doing, then I would discover, oh, there was an astrological blah 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 that corresponded with this, and I just feel it. I'm more of a knower, a bit of a seer, and not so much a need for manifest proof the way some people are. But I recognize that everybody learns differently and everybody intuits differently, and so I'm trying to be a little more accommodating. It's not everybody wants to just think I'm some kind of know-it-all. The ethers are the ethers, and I just tune. So we'll just see what comes out in terms of clarifying, what I'm sensing here. Oh, Lilith. Power. Lilith power. Lilith. Now that's a story and a half right there. Isn't that Lilith power representative of Earth energy and this like taking back of the creative forces? Like, we can put all the rules in the world that we want on top of Mother Earth, but she can still change. And when you really don't want her to do that, it can feel like a power that needs to be controlled and pushed down. And that's what we've been in, very much, where it's been, like turned into this kind of demented sort of understanding of femininity and creative power. This is Yamaya, the Oracle. And I think from the the depths of our emotional knowing, we hear that like call back to the inner kingdoms, the inner waters, the inner knowing. When the divine feminine gets suppressed for too long, that intuitive side of our knowing, where all creative aspects come from, calls out to us. And so that is illumination. And once our waters call out to us and we turn to it, we get that spark of creativity again, for newness. We're reminded the flame, the spark of the divine within us, where it comes from. And we can begin again new with it. Alright, so where are we going? Where are we going? Quan. Compassion. Compassion. We are being given a whole lot of grace from the divine realms after having really fallen asleep in a lot of ways, allowed a lot of terrible things to occur. After returning to our depths, after being reminded of the spark and grace being poured out on us, we need to offer that grace to others as well. and hold space for grace to move again. Quan Yin to me is always that compassionate, safe harbor. That's always the way I've seen it. That holds space for the people who are hurting, rather than you're not good enough, I'm going to reject you, and the judgment that comes with that may be created out of ignorance of the totality, ignorance of our connections. So Kuan Yin reestablishes that compassionate vehicle for grace. So I'll just hold him up again. So we, in my worldview, really took the divine feminine storyline out of fear for what this place is and got afraid of it. There's stories in Hermetic and esoteric literature about the female spirit who created without permission, and I think this is the whole idea behind Lilith. Is it's like the female spirit creating without permission from the divine, and in doing so created something along the lines of the demiurge. I think that's how the storyline goes. So we're restoring that limited perspective, right? Because we know enough now. We can restore that limited perspective. And we find it from the oracle, from the depths of our inner ancestral knowing, that ocean level emotional landscape that informs us and calls out to us. The oracle taps us into our intuition, and once we're tapped in, we can feel that spark again, to begin again, to be illuminated. I think we'll look this one up. Let's look that one up. Let's look up the fire ace of illumination. Okay, the Dakini Kundalini Mama of illumination. Brings the light of consciousness to all aspects of being. Burning through illusion, she eliminates all that lies hidden in the human psyche of darkness and light, that the true essence of divinity may be shown and realized. This fire goddess blazes into your world now as the breakthrough needed, letting spirit light the way to your heavenly wisdom. Let her guide you. Know that the light of clarity and illumination that you seek is coming to you like a thunderbolt. The time has come for you to move forward in your life with new, brilliant consciousness and creative power. So that's it. And then, as you're doing all of that, keep hold. Keep hold of compassion. Don't get egotistical. This is by grace. Grace finds you. Grace reminds you. Grace reignites you. And grace carries you. So do that for others without judgment and scorn. Okay? All right. Have a great week. Feel free to leave any comments, questions below. Take care.